Col de la Bonette, and as Paul Sherwin said when he drove over this climb last night, it was probably the worst climb he'd ever seen, and he was rather pleased that they never included this climb during his years in the Tour de France. In fact, this climb has only been climbed twice before, back in the 60s, 1963 and 1964, and it was the great Spanish champion Federico Bahamontes, the Eagle of Toledo, who was the man who won at the top of the climb on both occasions. And these are the two leaders at the bottom of the climb. They swept up Cassani before they got here, and Delgado is now being dropped by Robert Millar. Well, Millar is going alone, and I'm not sure that's a wise thing to do so early on, because there's a long way to go to the finish here, and Robert Millar is facing a long, hot ride by himself. It's a strange climb, the Col de la Bonette. It really is like the shape of a hat, because the riders climb to the top and they go round the side of the bonnet, and then they descend away down to the left of our picture, back down to the bottom and the finish, before they have to climb, of course, up through Isola 2000. That's a climb the Tour de France has never before gone up, and it's very, very steep. And there he is, the Scot, who claims to be the first man with the long hair, tied up at the back. Many people attribute that to Laurent Fignon, and he gets very upset about that. And Millar now on his own. His lead is 45 seconds. Well, Millar, when he rides well like this, is magnificent to watch. Now riding his 11th Tour de France. Rode his first tour back in 1983, and that was when we first saw the Scots' great talent. Finished 14th that year. He's Delgado now going back to the select group containing Indurain, and among others Jaskula is also there, so too is Rominger, Mechia. I think Hampson is there as well. I'm not too sure though whether in fact Eric Breukink is there, and he could be the big name that's missing. Sorry about the little bit of break-up here. It's due to the microwave link-ups which bring these pictures from way out in the mountains back to the finishing line where the commentary is being made. And Millar being left now to do all of the work. I feel sure he would have liked a little bit of company on this long climb just to break up the pace-making. John Unzagat is here now alongside his team leader, Tony Rominger. Well, Rominger may have lost his men he wanted for the team time trial, but he's still got the man he needs for the mountains. Unzagat, a great climber. Men who can so easily win races in their own right, but they have to succumb to the domesticity of helping their team leaders. And I know the riders were very, very worried about this climb. They knew how long it was. Nobody in the current crop of racing cyclists have ever raced over this climb before. And it's like riding across the moon, isn't it? And now you can see it. That's the bonnet, and the right is the road that goes right round the bonnet before they come back virtually on themselves. At one stage, there is about a 40-yard stretch of road where they cross each other as they begin the descent away down to the bottom before the climb to Isola. Now Millar making progress towards the summit, heading up towards the top of the bonnet itself. Now you can just feel how steep this climb really is. So Millar at least is going to put his name down alongside that of Federico Bahamontes. Only the two of them in 3 times have won this climb, and that will put Millar among the greats at least as a climber. And Millar, still the only rider from the British Isles to have won the King of the Mountains title. He did that back in 1984 when he finished 4th in the Tour de France. And now he's climbing to the top of the Col de la Bonette. Well, he made his move right at the base of this climb, at the 101 kilometres point today. That's about 63 miles, and leaving himself a long, long way to go. Slightly into the second half of the stage today. Well, there's no need yet, Robert, to look over your shoulder, because the next group is around about 1 minute behind. There's the average speed, just on 30 kilometres, about 18 miles an hour so far, but if you've seen the roads they've climbed today, that really is quite quick. Well, second over was Rominger. Just about 1 minute and 10 seconds was the gap. Indurain, Mechia, Delgado, that's the order they've gone over the top. A very, very quick descent indeed this. There aren't too many corners. You can see the slope going right down ahead of us. There's just a right-hand bend that brings the riders through, and we've now accomplished that as we begin to regroup at the base of the climb up to Isola 2000. Well, this is a very, very steep climb indeed. It's not as long as the Col de la Bonette, but then nothing is. And Indurain has got himself back together. Millar is still away. And that's the face of Millar now, as he struggles on the climb, and that is the sad sight, because they're bringing him back. Well, Millar has had a tremendous breakaway, but I don't think he will survive the attacks that are going to come for sure now. They will launch the attacks, and Chiappucci has come up to this group with a marvellous descent off the top of La Bonette, because he was something like 3 minutes down on the climb. He's bridged that gap, and he's done it all with a very, very good descent of La Bonette. Early leader in the King of the Mountains, but quite honestly, nobody would have expected Bjorn Ries to be in at the kill after a day like this. And there, poor old Robert Millar has been passed by Chiappucci and Bjorn Ries. And Danish television, by the way, covering the Tour de France with 70 hours of live coverage, and the Danish riders are responding so well to that. A stage win also. We've seen that already at Evreux with Jesper Skibby. Zenon Jaskula also accelerating, seeing the train is leaving the station, and the man who's going to miss it is Andy Hampsten. Hampsten doesn't appear to have the acceleration there. Mecchia is up there. So, little Claudio Chiappucci, I mean, what do you make of this? This is a rider who was suffering over the mountains for the last 2 days and suddenly found his legs. And sadly, the same can't be said for Andy. And the way we're going, Indurain might be the first rider to see his own name here. Ries, Chiappucci, Indurain, Rominger, Mecchia. The names now who are shaping the Tour de France, and Robert Millar just about holding them in sight. Well, I have to say, Robert, you're doing a great ride, because after the way you climbed the Col de la Bonette, I really didn't think you'd still be holding on to these great names of the world of cycling at this stage of the second day in the Alps. And Indurain content now to set the pace, and seemingly Rominger content to follow it. They've tamed the devil. He's now riding no-handed in third place, no doubt about thinking of something else, but will you believe this? Millar's only just come on, and he's gone. Robert Millar has gone again, inside 4 kilometres to go. I don't know where he's found the effort from, but Millar has gone, and that is a superb piece of riding by the Scotsman. Robert Millar, who has done so much on the climb of La Bonette, he was caught right as this climb began. He's gone again, and Indurain has not responded. He wants somebody else to do it. Indurain is watching the one man he fears. He's got him in second place, Tony Rominger. Jaskula is sitting at the back. And one has to say, Zenon Jaskula has followed wheels these past 2 days, but he's followed them very, very well indeed. Bjorn Ries is still up here as well. Mecchia, Chiappucci has found his second life. And now they're leaving it to Indurain to try and bring back Robert Millar. Obviously, Millar had sensed that the time was right, but it looks now as though Indurain is the man who's going to spoil a great day out for Robert Millar. He's a man we always expect to ride well in the Pyrenees. He's won there before, but he's never won in the Alps, and it looks now as though he won't be winning this year either, because this is the last day in the Alps, and it's been a real sort out of the men from the rest. There's no doubt now that the winner and the top places from this year's Tour de France is going to come from this very elite group. As we pass underneath the 2 kilometres to go banner, Jaskula still hanging on there. I think he's got his braces caught to the saddle of Mecchia. And Indurain now just sitting there, pedalling straight by Millar, doesn't even look at him. Millar looking to who the last man is. He's going to try and snatch the wheel and hold on. Rominger through on his wheel. Chiappucci, Mecchia. Jaskula detached a little bit, but Ries is the big surprise. Bjorn Ries is going to have a high position overall tonight. And just look at the lovely crowd here for the first time now on Isola 2000. They talk of this as the new Alpe d'Huez of the Tour de France, and maybe one day it will be. It's a tough climb, a kilometre to go, and I think it's Jaskula. Yes, it was. Jaskula's waited to see that red kite in the sky, and immediately Rominger says, "You're not spoiling the party now," has gone across to him. And well, you might have guessed it, that Indurain is the man who's marking Rominger everywhere, and they go straight by Jaskula. And Rominger has been forced to make the counter-offensive, and indeed Indurain has just gone straight up to him with all the ease of a champion. It's 100 metres to go. Indurain's got the inside. Indurain might well be taking the stage. He'd like to do. He's set up. He's realised the speed was too much. Tony Rominger has got the stage victory. And then coming home here in third place, it looks as though we've now got Claudio Chiappucci has come back into this Tour de France, although in all reality he's lost too much time. He gets third place. Jaskula is also there in fourth, and there's the gallant hero of the day. Robert Millar is coming home slightly detached in that last 2 kilometres, but really he did deserve the win, and he rode a great stage.